whose words and cries of pain we will never hear, and yet to whom we are linked in a past that is never dead and never really past, and a future that never arrives but beckons us and keeps us going. And so history never ends, the last page is never written, and the best pages are written not by princes, presidents, prime ministers, popes, but by the people. For all their faults and shortcomings, the people are all we have. In fact, we are they. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello? Hello? All right. Hello. So, yesterday, I posted a video about the HealthCare shooting, and I'll but news is just moving so fast that it's already sort of not as relevant. So I posted a video yesterday, last night, about the shooting, and it's pretty good, but apparently they found him, and everything I've been looking at and reading about it seems to say that it really is him. From everything I've seen, the evidence and whatnot, it seems very compelling that this is the shooter. People are trying to say, oh, this is a framing, this or that, it's fake, it's not real, blah, 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 blah. I think that the evidence shows that this guy is very likely the person. So his name is Luigi Mangione. He, as you can see here, he literally made his profile. The middle picture is of him with 4 nails in his back. So clearly he had some issue with United HealthCare that hurt his back. And then also, if you go to his Goodreads, oh, well, I think they deleted his Goodreads and all that, but if you go to his Goodreads, he literally has books about the healthcare industry and back pain and getting screwed over for your back pain. So a lot of evidence points to, and then apparently also his family have been looking for him. He disappeared off the map. His last post was in June. So he had, I haven't read all of these, but so he had some, I think he's just getting all the followers now. He had some right-wing beliefs, but he wasn't so what I want to say about this is that, so someone like Mike from PA kind of gloated that, oh, this guy is just some crazy right-winger or whatever. But people say this, but they don't understand, really, basically, that, they don't understand that everything about American society from the day you were born is about brainwashing you from the day you are born until the day you die that there is no alternative, right? that this system is the only system, blah, 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 you know, everything from the moment you were born. It is everywhere and omnipresent. So, especially a guy like this who apparently lived in a Republican household and all of that, it's very difficult to be exposed to the right politics, right? Very difficult to actually be exposed to, like, Marxism and all that. And even if you are, you're conditioned to be negative against it. So, of course, guys like this, who will they go to instead? They'll go to Jordan Peterson and Peter Thiel and all the people who are apparently okay to follow. And I think if you look further into this guy's politics, is that he had a clear and strong, you know, anti, you know, establishment. And I know that can be used in a right-wing way, but my point is that everything about American upbringing is to be a right-winger or a liberal. So, but, I mean, if you actually read the things he wrote, a lot of it, you know, it correlates with leftist politics. You know, these parasites had it coming. Oh yeah, this just shows like he was very clearly, you know, had some serious health issues. He also followed a diverse number of people like Joe Rogan, Trevor Noah, AOC, liberals like Ezra Klein. You know, another example of a right guy doing a good thing is Edward Snowden. He's sort of right-leaning. Yeah, so if you read like something like this, it shows that he has a lot of leftist sentiments. Yeah, and then there's dummies like this, like, oh my god, it's fake, it's not the real shooter, even though like everything points to him being the shooter. And it's also just a waste of time. Like like these kinds of posts are a huge distraction. They are a huge distraction. These conspiracy theory, you know, theorizing. It's the distraction from the class warfare reality. It's like, oh, is it the real person or not? Let's not talk about the class politics. Let's not talk about what led up to the shooting. Let's just talk about, well, is it a fake shooter? Is it a false flag? Is it someone else? Let's not think about the class politics of it all. Let's just think about this stupid bullshit. It's the same with, like, the JFK shooting, where it's like, let's just think about, oh no, you know, who was really the shooter, you know? The importance of the JFK shooting was that it was a, you know, if it was a planned, it was a coup, you know, it's not, that's what's important about it. Like, people are saying, like, why would he have the manifesto on him? The dude is homeless, you know? And what if he had been shot when he shot the CEO guy? He might have wanted, like, a manifesto on him to, you know, be read. Yeah, he's basically, his politics, it's sort of like a weird podcast bro kind of guy, basically. Which again is not totally ununderstandable when any real leftist alternatives are either demonized or ignored. Yeah, that's kind of cringe. What's our problem? But yeah, there were a lot of funny tweets about the situation and whatnot. Captured on tape. Yeah, he was captured in a McDonald's apparently. Someone in a McDonald's like ratted him out basically. Yeah, I mean, that's a decent point. You could argue maybe it's good that the shooter isn't a lefty because now Trump can't say like, "Oh, I'm going to use it to crack down on the left." But they'll do that anyways, you know. Facts and reality don't really matter. The assassin had a good run, but in the end, no American can resist the urge to eat cheeseburger. Oh yeah, I knew he was bi. The picture I used in my thumbnail, he looks so gay in that picture. I assumed he must be either gay or bi. How do I feel about the new law the House passed that is going to force schools to teach about anti-communism? Well, you know, that's what the schools already do. Like, that's literally what they already do. I guess it'll just mean it's going to try to push it even harder. Yeah, I mean, this guy sounds like the exact kind of guy that would have voted for Bernie. This dude is the definition of like the Bernie bro that voted for Bernie and then would have voted for Trump, you know? Because they want a change. They want solutions. They want an actual change to the status quo. And so they go to Trump because there's no leftist version of Trump. By leftist version of Trump, I mean like an actual democratic radical of any sort. This is so funny. Oh my god, this guy's hilarious, dude. America just rots people's brains, dude. You know, this is a huge L for the anarchists, by the way, because I was certain that this was an I wasn't certain, but I thought there was a decent chance this was an anarchist act, right? An anarchist popularized propaganda of the deed, and then that was turned away from because it was seen to be unuseful. But and then this happened, and I'm like, wow. Anarchists aren't fucking around, but no, it's like a fucking podcast tech bro, dude. Oh yeah, he was a bug fixer for Civ 6, which is funny. These people, oh, they arrested an innocent person. What do they base this on? Some people literally just want to have conspiracies in their brain. They have nothing interesting going on in their life. They don't have any hobbies. So they have to make up conspiracies that, like, everything is a conspiracy. There's so much evidence that points to this guy being the shooter. Like, it's not confirmed him, but we'll never have full confirmation. There can always be suspicion that it's a conspiracy, but what you do is you look at the evidence available, whether he's a shooter or not. They're review bombing the frickin' McDonald's that reported the guy. Okay. I don't know why it seems like Mike from PA is just trying to shit on this guy, like, as if people don't get taken down bad paths politically, you know? Don't believe anything until the evidence is provided. Well, I'm looking at evidence. I mean, that's the thing. I'm looking at the evidence, and then I'm coming to believe that he's probably the shooter. Mario, it's your turn. Oh, some old fuck in the McDonald's ratted him out. If someone gives me money, I'll tell you my opinion on Bad Empanada's take for $10. Combined $10, I'll tell you what I think. Because I'm not going to say it for free. These morons who are saying, like, it's so suspicious that he had everything on him at McDonald's? He was homeless, you fucking stupid dipshits. Where else is he gonna have his shit on him? You stupid morons. You people just want to believe in whatever conspiracy there is possible. Everything points to this guy being the shooter. Where is a homeless person going to bring his stuff with him other than with him? Fucking galaxy brain geniuses. I mean, he lived in a hostel in New York. He didn't live in New York. He went to New York. And I don't think he went back home because his family says he's been missing. His family has said he's been, like, I think her sister was saying, like, come back. Like, I need to find the tweet again. But people need to actually research things before they, like, come to conclusions. Give me money. Give me money. Ask me to do something and I'll give you money for it. I'll flex on camera for $10. Shirtless. No, $20. What do you want from me? Oh shit. I'm not gonna open that. YouTube, just looking. Give me money and I'll yap. Name my price for what? I already named my price. I mean, the best evidence is that it might be fake is that he still had the murder weapon on him. Because that's very incriminating, but he also had the manifesto on him. Like, I don't think he was, you know... Dude, it sucks being like a internationalist, anti-imperialist, leftist YouTuber because so many people want to give me money and they just apparently can't. I guess Streamlabs doesn't work, Patreon doesn't work, YouTube doesn't work. I need to just become an American streamer. Pander to Americans. Guys, America has some problems, but it's overall good. It's the best option we have. This is so foreign to me. I can't even think of what to say. America is the best option we have. You know, it's a good country. Believe in the American dream. In the end, we can make it. We can do it. we can achieve if we believe, okay? We just gotta believe. We gotta stand up for the human dignity. We gotta stand up for our institutions, for our values, for human dignity. We have to stand up for, decency. Decency, right? We need decency back in politics. We need kindness. We need kindness back in politics. We just need to not think about the world and just think about, America. I'm going to keep talking like this until someone pays me money. We need to realize that America is the best option, that China and Russia are evil countries, bad countries. America good. America good. Give me money. America fought the Nazis in World War II. America stands up for freedom and democracy, ultimately. China's evil, bad tankies. They're going to invade Taiwan. I'll say that if you pay me money. They're going to invade Taiwan. They're mad. They're genociding the Uyghurs. They're genociding the Uyghurs. They're oppressing the Tibetans. Putin's like Stalin. Putin is just the Soviet Union again. Guys, come on, Americans, give me money. I'm saying all the things you want me to say, Americans. Putin, Putler. Evil Putler Putin is like Stalin. You donated on Streamlabs? Yeah, donating through Streamlabs in the description is actually the best way to do it because that's where I get the highest amount. That's where I give the highest share of money at. Streamlabs takes the least amount of money of like anything. So that's the best way to give money. It's in the description. But thank you, Anonymous. Much appreciated. Hello, Ari. How's it going? Alright, I'll take that donation so I can stop being an American streamer. Okay. And again, I will, if someone donates, I will give my opinion on Bad Empanada's take on this all. But, so I also wanted to talk about, I mean, I don't really have much to say about it, but what happened in Syria. So, yeah, Assad got couped out of power. For those that don't know, the replacement government is going to be like a bunch of former Al-Qaeda guys. They're saying they're more moderate now. Who knows how true that is or not. But basically the closest to good guys in Syria are the PKK or the Syrian Democratic Forces. They're like former Marxist-Leninists that became Democratic Confederalists. So it's like sort of anarchism, but in practice, a lot of their government is basically like Marxist-Leninist in some ways. So apparently And then also Israel, of course, literally the instant that Syria got taken over, it started bombing Syria, including the capital Damascus, because of course they did. But yeah, I mean, it's not very good. Because even the PKK, the SDF, it's like, it's funded by America in part, so it's not like the most reliable leftist group. But Assad was not good because, I mean, just everything about what he did was bad, basically. And the fact that his government fell so fast, I think, shows how unpopular he was. Hakeem did a video on Rojava? I didn't know that. I don't know if people are saying like this is going to be worse for Syria, and I don't even like disagree with that potentially, but like what is the alternative? Does Assad stay in power literally forever? Because if this helps the SDF become stronger, then that could be a good thing. If the SDF becomes stronger as a result of this, but what it generally seems like is it seems like it's a win for the West, for Israel, for Turkey. So, it's complex, but it's Afghanistan is a parallel to that, because, like, was America just going to occupy Afghanistan forever? No, they lost. It was over. Same with Bashar al-Assad. He refused to do any reforms. He lost the mandate of his government. It had to die. He fucked up, Like, at the end of the day, that's what had to happen. What was the point of propping up that government forever, right? What is that going to do? He wasn't really helping Palestine. Assad was not really doing anything to help Palestine. Like Turkey, he would say some things to support Palestine, but it was all just words, for the most part. But yeah, I mean, it's not good no matter what. It's not exactly a good situation, but, whatever. If China was like the USSR, it should be funding the PKK and the SDF to survive at the very least, because now the SDF is getting attacked by Turkey and all that stuff. Anyways, it's all very complex, and a lot of you are probably wondering what the fuck I'm talking about, because there's all these different things going on that I'm not an expert on. Yeah, Hassan was talking about like some supply corridor. Like, I'm not saying this is good for Palestine especially. Like, the rebels appear to be more pro-Palestine. I mean, anti-Palestine. So yeah, it's like... I have no clue what's going on in Sudan. And honestly, I've got enough on my plate to not have to try and become a fucking like expert specialist on yet another country. Yeah, I don't really want to talk about Syria anymore. Give me something to talk about. Give me something fun and not depressing to talk about. Check stream suggestions on Discord. Well, then maybe don't talk about Sudan. I'm not talking about Sudan. That's what I said. I don't know what's going on in Sudan. Isn't there like some kind of genocide, some awful thing? I don't know. I'm wearing a shirt that I got when my politics were sort of like more just vaguely left. So it's like kind of like anarchisty almost, but I still think it looks kind of cool. But it's kind of hot right now. I'm kind of sweating it up in this thing. And my height's also changing because I have a treadmill that I walk on, because this is a standing desk, so sometimes I'll stand up and then I'll go back down. Nature walking through. Thank you for the $10. Stranger in Stranger Times. Thanks for all you do. Thank you. Yeah, it's very bizarre times for sure. How do I access the Discord? You can go to the About page of my YouTube and it should be there. Or I can link it. Thank you, though, nature. Yeah, it's not letting me link it, so just join in the About page. Yeah, that's a video I wanted to work on for a while, is how where I live, I've seen the effects of climate change firsthand. It is noticeably warmer for a long time where I live, for many years. Anarchists do have nice style. That is probably their... I mean, some of them do. It depends. But, you know. My style isn't really anarchist at all. But, other than for this, like, one shirt. No, I don't know about a book called On Tyranny. Never heard of it. That's way better. is my Charles Darwin shirt that I got when I was like a nerdy atheist. But it's a kind of cool, it's actually a pretty cool shirt. When I was in high school, my teammates on the basketball team called me Darwin. Because I refused to pray with them before the games. It wasn't like an angry thing. It was just like I just like didn't want to do it. It wasn't like a conflict thing. They just called me Darwin. Yes, I think it is the guy that killed him. Yeah, now we have two good Italians. We have Michael Prenti and this guy. I was a pretty militant atheist in like high school. But by the time high school was over, I kind of was like not really caring as much anymore. I wasn't even a hardcore like r/atheist guy though, no. They're going to go after Yemen next. I think that's possible. I definitely think it's they might be trying to do a clean sweep of the entire... They might be trying to do a clean sweep of every single country that opposes Israel. Oh, jeez. Because, yeah, Yemen is vulnerable now, you know? Syria just fell. Hezbollah got fucked up. Hamas is weakened. I think it's very possible they try to take out Yemen. And then all that's really left is Iran, right? Like, Iraq isn't really anti-Israel, right? So it's just Iran. Egypt doesn't give a shit. Saudi Arabia doesn't give a shit. In Iran, we literally had anti-communism sermons and pray sessions in high school. Yeah, see, this is why the freaking multipolarity bros annoy me, because it's like, I agree that, like, multipolarity might be better than unipolarity, but, like, we still have to be realistic. Like, the only one of these countries that is even nominally socialist is China, you know? Like, Iran is, like, super anti-communist. The Ayatollah was a total... He said that the Soviet Union was the lesser Satan. He said the great Satan is the US and the Soviet Union is the lesser Satan. So he was very much an anti-communist. But yeah, have you guys seen my video? That I posted yesterday? You should check it out if you haven't. And share it. Saddle up. Can't play it because it's copyrighted music. Iran is good on Palestine, it's horrible with everything else. And it's not even that good on Palestine. Like, they apparently had all this time these bombs that could just go through the Iron Dome, and they only decided to use them. I don't know. Yeah, that's the full context for the Great Satan. The Soviet Union was the Little Satan, and America was the Great Satan. Or Lesser Satan, I don't remember. Yeah, I mean, India is like just a total disaster. But I think, I think smart multipolarists and honest multipolarists, like Gabriel Rockhill has said this. He's been very clear. He says it's not the end goal. Multipolarity is not the end goal, but he believes that multipolarity is a step towards a socialist world. Because you no longer have this one giant, undefeatable hegemon killing everyone who tries to be socialist. But that's just a theory. But I think it's potentially true. Yeah, multipolarity isn't about socialism or anti-fascism. It's about de-dollarization and sovereignty. Excuse me. This is objectively a good thing. It's one step away from neocolonialism. Yeah, I mean, you gotta go somewhere. You can't just have an instant world socialist revolution that topples the US, you know? There was a huge setback when the Soviet Union fell, and so now things have to be slowly rebuilt over a long period of time. That isn't just going to happen instantly, because that's just not how it works. I think you can both not be anti-multipolarity and also not think that, like, India's gonna form like a socialist country, you know? There's like a middle ground. Yeah, I mean, multipolarity would help Cuba if it had more opportunities to trade with other countries. Multipolarity is just national bourgeois rejecting Western bourgeois. Yeah. But it can still be seen as a potential step on the path, you know? Is socialism dying globally? I didn't mean to say... What I more mean is when I say that is that some people seem to see multipolarity as the end goal. As, like, that's just, like, it, you know? When that should not... when that obviously is not the case. Do you think multipolarity will just shift who the imperial core is, or will it fade away altogether? I think that... I mean, that's a big question to answer. Maybe I'll get back to that. Well, the multipolarity, it's a big tent. The multipolarity movement is a mixture of, nationalists, you know? It's a mixture of, it's mainly a mixture of nationalists, and socialists. It's sort of like how the fight against Israel is a mixture of nationalists and socialists. Because you have Hamas, but then you also have the PFLP. Oh, I did promise I'd watch that JJ McCullough video, didn't I? And I got paid to do it too.
Hello, Fred.
Okay, well. Alright, we're gonna watch the JJ McCullough video on how consumerism isn't evil. JJ McCullough is a Canadian center-right guy. Dear God, save me.
Hello, friends. My name is JJ, and as you guys might know, I recently went on Destiny's podcast to talk about...
Of course he did. Also, did you guys hear that Canadian about? That is the most stereotypical freaking about
various things. For those who are unfamiliar, Destiny is among the most famous and popular internet-based political commentators working today. He has a somewhat intense and combative personality and loves to debate everyone and anyone, but his core beliefs are basically moderate, and philosophically the two of us have a lot in common, which is why I think that our chat was a good one, and I will link to it in the thing below. But anyway, something we discussed a fair bit during our conversation was the subject of gratitude, which is something I have been pondering a lot lately. One of my core beliefs is that the broad culture of this continent too often encourages and celebrates the opposite of gratitude, and that this cultural bias is having ever more toxic and destructive effects. These days, it seems like the quickest path to getting a reputation for intelligence and insight in America is to just endlessly complain about the status quo in increasingly florid language. It doesn't matter if you are on the right or the left. It is always way more fashionable to complain and denounce than appreciate or enjoy. It is so much cooler to...
God, I hate this slimy little worm. Hey, you slimy little fucking worm who's just telling us to be happy for what we have. Wages have not been rising with inflation at all for many years, okay? The country is ravaged by environmental pollution, by horrific healthcare practices. I personally and my family have been affected by horrific healthcare practices and doctors, okay? There are many, many, many reasons to complain. Yes, it's important to practice gratitude, but this is just classic, be thankful for what you have as you continue to lose everything you have.
affect a persona of exhausted disgust or outrage about the component.
Affect a persona of exhausted disgust. God forbid anyone in America could actually have genuine grievances. No, it's just a persona. It's just a fashion statement. Dude, this guy is such a scumbag. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay.
Component parts of our civilization than express even grudging admiration or respect for any of it. This civilization of our civilization affect a persona of exhausted disgust or outrage about the component parts of our civilization than express even grudging admiration or
our civilization.
Respect for any of it. This civilizational self-loathing comes in a lot of different forms, including cynicism about democracy, paranoia about modern technology, and knee-jerk skepticism towards any claim of social progress for any group of marginalized peoples. But
no, this guy is just making shit up. This guy is totally making shit up. I mean, most people will recognize that there has been social progress in terms of, you know, we do land identification, or we do like affirmative action or whatever. What people really complain about is, first of all, yes, there hasn't been enough social progress. People don't say, it's just a straw man to say that people have say that there's been no social progress. That's not what people say. They're saying that, first of all, there hasn't been enough social progress, which is true, obviously. Secondly, the bigger problem is there's been no economic progress. Economically, things are getting worse and worse as inequality is getting worse and worse.
the flavor I wanted to talk about today is the rhetoric of anti-consumerism. It is easily one of the most popular pan-ideological styles of complaining, and in my opinion, one of the most harmful. So, consumerism is a term that is often used to describe one of the fundamental characteristics of modern American society, namely that we like consumer goods. As our society has grown wealthier and more technologically advanced over time, we have been able to purchase and use an ever greater diversity of affordable conveniences and luxuries, everything from pre-made foods to home electronics to fashionable clothes to toys for our pets. Consumerism has accordingly risen to become a central pillar of American civilization, equal in importance to things like work or politics. Anti-consumerism, meanwhile, is the argument that there is something deeply morally wrong with the way that our society makes, buys, sells, and uses all of these consumer products, as well as decrying the broad infrastructure that creates and distributes these consumer goods in the first place, which includes inventors and companies and stores and advertisers. The most strident...
Yeah, this guy has so much crap behind him. My background is the background you want, okay? Completely not giving a shit at all. Just literally in front of the bed you sleep in. Just all your shit just around. That is the background you need.
Anti-consumerists tend to portray the cycle of production and consumption that defines our consumerist economy as something deeply grotesque and pathological, sometimes even something akin to a form of slavery. A particularly arch example of this would be the popular YouTube video, The Story of Stuff, that was put out by the Tides Foundation in 2009. It argues that basically every step of modern consumerism is actively and purposefully sinister, that all of our consumer goods are manufactured by horribly exploitive labor practices, that everything we buy is full of toxic chemicals that are slowly killing us, that all public demand for anything is the result of psychological manipulations by corporations, and that most things we buy serve no purpose beyond generating garbage that is destroying the environment.
In the U.S.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, that video is awesome. Holy crap. True.
We spend 3 to 4 times as many hours shopping as our counterparts in Europe do. So we're in this ridiculous situation where we go to work, maybe 2 jobs even, and we come home and we're exhausted, so we plop down on our new couch and watch TV, and the commercials tell us you suck, so you gotta go to the mall to buy something to feel better, and then you gotta go to work more to pay for the stuff you just bought, so you come home and you're more tired, so you sit down and you watch more TV, and it tells you to go to the mall again, and we're on this crazy work, watch, spend treadmill, and we could just stop.
Now,
wow. He's just sharing, like, absolute spitting. This is hilarious. This is amazing.
I don't just want to immediately brush off some of these more specific anti-consumerist critiques. I mean, there is obviously some truth to them. When it comes to environmental concerns in particular, we should always be conscious of the degree that our consumer habits can have real-world consequences, and accordingly, we should always...
What does that mean? We should always... What the fuck does that mean? We should always be conscious. Hey, buddy, I thought we live in a democracy. Why do we not have the politicians who care about the environment enough to protect it? Being conscious doesn't mean anything. The environment is continuing to degrade. Climate change is continuing to destroy the earth. Kamala Harris is wanting to be like the biggest fracking president ever. It's not just being conscious. Individual recycling. By the way, I don't think you shouldn't recycle. I don't think you shouldn't be environmentally conscious individually. I think some people use that as a cop-out to not have to do anything. You should still be environmentally conscious. But in the grand scheme of things, it's going to take a lot more than just recycling your shit to save the planet.
Seek to minimize our trash and dispose of things in the correct way. But, you know, this is also an example of a realm in which the uncontested popularity of anti-consumerist rhetoric has made us kind of overly credulous and shallow in our pessimism. Because even though you don't hear that much about it, our consumer culture has actually been getting progressively more and more environmentally responsible in recent years, driven by changes in both consumer and producer behavior alike. For one, the much demonized corporations that provide us with our consumer goods are about as environmentally conscious as they have ever been for all of human history. In fact, it is pretty much all but impossible these days to visit any corporation's website without getting bombarded with all of the various green initiatives they...
Okay, so I'm glad he talked about this. I'm glad he's talking about this. What he's basically talking about is something called greenwashing. There's a phrase called greenwashing. It's when a company on the surface pretends to be doing sustainable stuff, when in reality, it's usually not. Most of these companies, they're doing very little or almost nothing usually and making a big deal about it. Especially when it comes to like buying carbon credits to plant trees. A lot of the buying carbon credits to plant trees is bullshit. It doesn't really do anything. I could get into the details. It's a little complex. But, yeah, I mean, his logic is so terrible because guess what? Even if he's right, even if corporations are becoming more environmentally friendly, they are not, it's not very true, they are not doing it nearly enough. They are not doing it 1/50th of enough. The world is dying. The world is like dying of climate change. So they're not doing nearly enough. So who cares if they have websites stroking themselves about their sustainability initiatives? Who cares? We need worldwide forced government authoritarian action. We need worldwide coordinated authoritarian, extremely authoritarian, tanky action to fight climate change. Not a bunch of corporations saying, oh, we're sustainable.
They want you to know about. But of course, by and large, we don't want to know about it. The conventional wisdom in American culture is just that the corporations are screwing the environment, and most of us don't bother to look into the facts beyond that, other than maybe sharing the occasional sensational headline that reinforces the sort of...
This dude has 0 fucking citations. What an absolute just brain dead worm.
Pessimism that our culture celebrates. But in reality, there are plenty of positive trend lines out there. Like, did you know that many of the largest corporations in America, including Walmart, Target, and General Mills, have all signed a pact committing to exclusively using plastic packaging that is reusable, recyclable, or compostable as early as next year, according to the...
Corporations signed a non-binding pact that they go back on all the fucking time? Wow! Kind of like how the American governments or governments around the world said they'd fight climate change at the Paris Agreement, and then they went on to literally not do that at all, to basically do nothing to fight climate change. Wow, Guys, they made a pledge. Holy cow.
The most recent numbers from 2022, they have nearly passed the 50% mark. Amazon, meanwhile, is officially in the process of phasing out the use of their plastic delivery bags, which they have already done in Europe. Most of the biggest consumer good companies are also just using far less plastic in their packaging.
Another thing about these pledges and stuff is that this stuff can easily be reversed, right? Companies will do some kind of business analysis and then they'll be like, well, actually let's go back to the old ways. So all of this stuff isn't even permanent. It's easily reversible.
Overall these days than they used to, thanks in part to innovations in plastic technology. Unilever, for instance, claims to have cut their plastic use by a fifth over the last decade by using lighter packaging.
Also, another thing, as we all know, corporations exist to fudge the shit out of their numbers. They fudge and make up and lie about all the numbers that make them look good as much as possible. That's another thing to keep in mind.
Packages. Starbucks cups, meanwhile, have cut plastic use by up to 20%, while the plastic used to make McDonald's Happy Meal toys is now nearly 50% recycled. So what is our reaction to hearing stuff like this? Is it to feel optimistic and encouraged that the major consumer goods producers
Starbucks reducing their plastic use in their cups by 20% doesn't mean anything. The world is dying. Billions of people are going to die from climate change. Capitalism is not solving the issue by having a few companies say, oh, we reduced our plastic use by 30%. Whoa! That doesn't do anything. You need China levels of shifting your economy, not just a bunch of companies saying they're reducing plastic use.
are taking their responsibilities to the planet seriously? Or is it just to assume that this must be some giant greenwashing scam and that everyone involved must be lying and disingenuous and all the rest of it?
Yes.
Which video do you think would get more clicks? Now, in my opinion, the even more pernicious anti-consumerist narrative is the one that simply...
He's not even going to address it. He's just going to dismiss the greenwashing. He's not even, of course he's not even going to address it. Unless maybe he will.
posits that the lifestyle of the average American consumer is something inherently pointless, oppressive,
Nah, he's not. He's just going to mention greenwashing and then move on.
and pathetic. You know, this idea that if you like to shop and if you like to own things and if you derive any part of your personal identity
You know what I just realized that's so fucking funny about this, guys? Look at this guy's fucking background. Look at this fucking guy's background. He is the pinnacle of the person we talk about when we criticize consumerism. Look at this guy's disgusting background. Look at the amount of useless bullshit that he buys to make himself happy. This guy is literally the pinnacle of the person that we're criticizing. Yeah, Funko Pop hell. It's fucking insane.
from consumer goods, you are this fundamentally weak and simple-minded person deserving of revulsion, contempt, and pity, and there are a lot of powerful...
He is personally hurt by this. This is incredible. Because he knows that he is the world's biggest shit buyer that ever lived. How many little brown children made all this shit in the background? It's all from China too, by the way. You know this fucking dude just bought a bunch of bullshit from China as this hardcore neoliberal capitalist.
Narratives about this flowing from both the cultural left and the cultural right.
What's the aboot counter? Guys, do we have an aboot counter? I think we're at 6 so far.
Cultural left, especially the far left, doesn't like anything that valorizes capitalism, which any sort of overt appreciation of consumer goods obviously does, since the capitalist supply and demand system is what produces all of these goods in the first place. People who appreciate consumerism justify the survival of capitalism, and of course, if you are somebody invested in a political project of making capitalism look horrible, we can't have that. The cultural right, meanwhile, has become increasingly bossy and sanctimonious, insisting that if you don't live one very particular, old-fashioned, traditional lifestyle, you are a disgusting, wimpy, beta cuck. You shouldn't enjoy clothes or toys or snacks or electronics because liking anything other than making a lot of babies with your heterosexual trad spouse is seen as a sign of a decadent, failing West. Similarly, as the right comes to steal more and more anti-science hysteria from the left, they are becoming the faction most likely to wail about how all of the popular consumer products are full of scary toxins that will steal your...
A boot counter just went up by 1.
vril and give you a weak chin. Ideologues on both sides are also very fond of arguments positing that a happy consumer is actually a spiritually empty husk of a human being who only turns to material things to fill a void that is supposed to be filled with a love of Jesus or trees or yoga or whatever.
Yes, I agree. Any person who has to buy all of this shit, anyone who consciously pays for Mickey Mouse Funko Pops and a little Amogus toys and just so much garbage. Oh my god, every inch of the screen. This is not a well person, guys. This is not... The background you see here, this is the background of a healthy person, okay?
A rebuttal, however, is that it is actually pretty difficult and rare to sustain any sort of spiritual movement that doesn't include at least some element of materialism. I would even say that buying and owning things inevitably comes to play a prominent role in just about any spiritual or philosophical movement that hangs around long enough. People then often scorn this as evidence that a movement is selling out or becoming commercialized. But to me, it signals that we humans are just naturally drawn to obtaining and owning things.
Oh my god, even the plants are plastic, you're right. Okay, I can't say for sure, but they sure look plastic. It's just so perfectly symbolic. It's perfectly symbolic. I love that.
At some fundamental level, making it difficult for us to experience sincere love or enjoyment for anything without expressing at least some of that love materially. I grew up in a community with a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses, and of all of their weird beliefs, the one that consistently weirded out outsiders the most was their dogmatic refusal to give presents on birthdays or Christmas. Something about that just instinctively feels wrong, and even somewhat anti-human. And I don't think it's because we've just all been brainwashed by the shopping industrial complex. Religious movements that attempt to adopt a strict anti-materialist position tend to...
Brother, look. It's fine to give gifts. It's fine to like things. It's fine to like things. It's fine to buy things, but there's a certain point where you've gone way overboard. And you're just becoming a hoarder. And this is a perfect example.
To get a lot of favorable press in American culture because they are helpful as good examples to shame the rest of us. But in reality, I think they're just preaching yet another form of pious abstention from a natural instinct that winds up being every bit as oppressive and unsatisfying as the thing it is supposed to be offering liberation from. And indeed, in much the same way that spiritual admonitions to abstain from types of sex or food often wind up producing a heavy psychological burden of guilt and humiliation on those who fail to live up to the unnatural demand, so too do those calling for anti-consumerist abstinence often spiral into a kind of self-righteous misery as they attempt to practice what they preach. Even just anecdotally, here on YouTube, I often feel like the most...
Again, the main problem with consumerism is not the simple fact of owning things. It's the fact that your owning things is built off of a huge third world labor pool that is exploited ruthlessly so you can get your shitty little plastic Funko Pops. And when people criticize that, your reaction is to just laugh at them, you know? And again, oh God, it's just like, oh.
stereotypically jolly YouTuber is one of these chubby middle-aged guys who likes collecting things, while the most stereotypically miserable YouTuber is a stridently anti-capitalist video essay person who probably spends a lot of time trying to come up with
Famously, everyone who is a hoarder who hoards endless bullshit.
Dark side.
Yes. People who just hoard endless bullshit are definitely happy
was a
people.
newly released 2013 condo tour that shows just how much worse his living space has gotten.
This is what has happened to my condo in the past year. I've gotten so much stuff that my condo just can't look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the floor. Look at this. It's a fucking hideous mess. And I really wish that I had somewhere to put this shit, but I don't.
Tied to this was the curiosity about DSP's expenditure.
But yeah, I mean, there's nothing about owning a bunch of plastic bullshit that means you're a happy person. It's ridiculous. And you know, yeah, I don't know.
anti-capitalist rationalizations for why he enjoys movies and video games produced by the market economy. And this is what brings me back to the larger point about gratitude. The fact is, we live in a society of enormous prosperity and material abundance.
Hey, bud. Why do we live in this society of enormous prosperity and material abundance, bud? Why do you think that exists in the first place, buddy? Oh, is Boogie2988 a hoarder too? Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous to say buying a bunch of plastic bullshit is a sign you're happy. It's absolute insanity. The less shit I own, the happier I am. That's what I've come to realize. Like, the less shit you own, the freer you are. Buying a bunch of bullshit is not going to make you happy. You know, you can have your one or two interests to buy money to invest in, but unless it's something you're interested in and invested in, then you're just blowing your money on trash. Buy things that you're going to actually use to better yourself or to better the world or to better your family. Those are the things you should spend your money on. Or for entertainment too, you know. I don't even buy books because I have them digitally on my iPad. I don't have an iPad, but I have like a thing like that. I own so little things. I only own a lot of clothes because my mom always buys me clothes that I don't want, but I appreciate it. But like, yeah, the less you own, the happier you'll be.
A byproduct, as I said earlier, of the centuries of incredible economic growth and technological innovation that have defined modern civilization on this continent. So there comes a point, I think, in which we are morally obligated to honor and appreciate this inheritance, a culmination of a history allowing us access to so many wonderful consumer products that stimulate our senses and imaginations and intellects. We are talking about consumer goods that not only make life more enjoyable for ourselves, but can also provide a basis for building communities and relationships through acts and traditions of shared consumption, whether that means dining out with friends, giving gifts to a loved one, or being part of a subculture based around appreciating some product whose quality and cultural significance you feel is deserving of reverence. Again, I don't want to be so sentimental as to suggest that a consumerist society brings no challenges. It obviously does. And it is also true that just as different people have different appetites in all realms of life, consumerism exists on a spectrum in which not everyone likes or wants consumer goods in the same way or in the same amount. But it also seems to me that a very confused and dysfunctional society will be one in which some huge foundational pillar of that society, a pillar that is by all accounts popular and providing overwhelmingly positive results for that society, has...
Hey, bud. What is the cost? You know, what is the point? What is the point of responding to this? You know, what is the fucking point? This guy is so far gone. Look at his background, dude. Like, he's gone, dude. You know? Like,
curiously few defenders. Or, even worse, is regarded as a subject of scorn and embarrassment by that society's intellectuals and artists. And that is pretty much the case with consumerism, as far as I can tell. Even though we inhabit a civilization where consumerist activities like shopping and entrepreneurship and product nostalgia and gift giving and collecting play a dominant role in shaping the character of our culture and bringing great joy to those who partake, our thought leaders and artists nevertheless tend to be disproportionately anti-consumerist, preaching doctrines of guilt and shame about the degree that we have allowed consumerism to lead us off one righteous path or another. And even then, these intellectuals are often hypocrites who enjoy consumption and materialism and capitalism as much as anyone else, but feel their respectability as intellectuals would be undermined if they ever made the case for liking the system that they so obviously do. What I think we need—
No examples provided. Not a single fucking example offered. Jesus Christ.
These days is a new ethic of healthy consumerism that is capable of expressing a frank and open gratitude for the many benefits of living in a wealthy and prosperous consumer society, while also finding ways to acknowledge and incorporate some of the fair and good faith critiques of consumerism. When it comes to environmental concerns in particular, I think it is vital that the consumer public notice, support, and encourage—
What about I'm glad he's at least mentioning environmental concerns, but what about the massive third world labor that is required to create these things, you know?
initiatives being taken by the consumer goods suppliers to meet the goals of sustainability and waste reduction that they are carrying out on our behalf. It is quite obnoxious when the anti-consumerists are so relentlessly cynical about all of this and sort of airily suggest that getting rid of the whole consumerist capitalist system is the only real solution. It's very disingenuous given that A, almost no one seems to sincerely believe this, judged by their actions. And B, it is not obvious at all that going that far is even necessary. But reaching a conclusion like that also requires paying close attention to the progress currently being made, which isn't something that is particularly valued in a society whose culture is defined by self-loathing pessimism. So unless we all just want to feel like miserable, guilty hypocrites forever, I say that culture has to change. Do you find my rhetoric persuasive at all? I'm not a genius. I don't have the answers to everything that ails us, but it does seem like there is an important argument missing in our conversation about consumerism. This was my attempt to provide it.
Okay. I hate Canada. Give me money, and I'll watch something. Yeah, I mean, it's total overproduction. It's absolutely insane. Like, you could criticize the Soviet Union for not having enough consumer goods, and I think that's true. It absolutely did not have enough consumer goods. You know, life isn't about, like, not having any entertainment. You should be able to have fun entertainment. But this is so far in the other direction, it's insane. Like, only in like a post-scarcity society should you have, only in a world where climate change isn't like about to destroy everything, should anyone be making all this fucking garbage. Like, this is not the kinds of, like, this is not where productive forces need to be. Oh, sorry. Hold on. All of this garbage is not where the productive forces need to be focused, you know? All of this fucking garbage, this is the kind of shit that should be made when we're not facing an existential crisis from climate change. When we're not facing a world where people get paid pennies a day to make this shit. It's fucking useless trash garbage. This is this kind of shit you should only have when we don't need to worry about the destruction of the environment. Sorry, I mean, I'm happy to say it. Like, under socialism in the near future, you would not get to have all this fucking bullshit. Like, it's insane that people don't have healthcare, but they can fucking buy all this trash, you know? Ugh. It's just not what society should be focusing on. You should, at a certain point, you should have bought enough Funko Pops after a certain point where beyond that, you're happy. You don't need to buy any more Funko Pops. But why do you think these people keep buying and buying and buying until their houses are disgusting, hoarded shitholes? Why do you think they do that? They do that because they're not happy. Because if they were, then the 15th Funko Pop that they buy, that would be enough for them. By that point, they'd be like, all right, fine. You know, I got 15 Mickey Mouse Funko Pops. I'm happy. I wonder, let me see his background. Is it getting worse? It's so funny, like, this guy's entire identity is consumption. Look at his fucking banner. It's just a bunch more stupid products. It's incredible. The 3 treasures of the middle class. Let me see, has it gotten worse since last time? Yep. He's buying more shit. There's an extra thing there. There's an extra thing there. There's an extra thing there. Yep. He's buying more shit. What did I say? He's just buying more and more shit. He's continuing to buy more and more shit. He's not giving it as gifts to anyone or whatever bullshit. He's just buying more shit. Holy shit.
Hello.
Amazing. He's just buying more and more shit.
Hello, friends. My name is JJ.
He doesn't look like he's doing good either. I'm not gonna lie, dude. He does not look like he's doing all that great. Like, he looks like he just got out of an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Not to be offensive, but...
Oh, as longtime viewers know, on this channel...
Anyways. I love this guy. He's actually kind of funny, honestly. The less things I have, the happier I am. Like, I'm trying to sell, like, or get rid of, like, most of the shit I have left. Give me money. I'll watch something if you give me money. Give me money. It's not my doorway. It's my window. Give me money. Alright, I'm ending the stream in a minute if someone doesn't give me money. You gotta quit the cigarettes and give me the money instead. Imagine how much money you're spending on cigarettes that you could be giving to me instead. Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. I do need some fucking whales. My streamer friend had some fucking whales who would give him like hundreds of dollars a month. Or even up to 1,000. But the whales are few and far between, sadly. What would I talk about if I were to go on the program? About how everyone should give me money. Well, don't tell me you're giving me money. Give me money. I'll flex if someone gives me money. Vosh has some dude in his chat who donates like $500 to him every few hours. I'm not even fucking kidding. It's actually insane. Take the euros back and give it to me. Can just get it up to that dollar? Had to be at 99 cents. I had someone donate in here that, yeah. Alright, 30 seconds and I'm out. There's no donos. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.